So currently, The Guardian has posted an article stating that Trump is willing to talk with the current regime. I don't know if that's like news propaganda. I wonder if you could clear that out in one of your streams that you might have coming up.
Yeah, so so you're saying the Islamic Republic is reaching out to United States and they're saying they're ready for negotiations?
Well, Trump says that I think that he agreed
Oh,
to talk with the Iranian regime if they're willing to do so.
okay, okay, but who's the Iranian regime right now exactly?
Well, the Ayatollahs, the
Okay,
IRGC.
yeah, okay. So the head of IRGC was killed.
Hmm.
Khamenei was killed, right? So I don't know. There's the problem with that is, first of all, if they could do that, that would be, let them do that. Okay, we'll see how that goes, right? The Right now the Islamic Republic. By the way, close your mic so there's
Sure.
while I'm speaking. Yeah, sorry. So again, guys, the Islamic Republic is completely in chaos right now, right? If the United States and Israel have taken out all of their main leaders, and they continue to do so as we're speaking right now. The head of IRGC, so many of the main people within IRGC are dead. Many of their politicians are dead. Khamenei is dead. Moshtaba Khamenei is dead. There isn't really that many people with the authority, except maybe Larijani. Shamkhani is dead. Larijani might have the authority to speak to the Americans, but the problem is that because the people who were holding all of these different elements within the Islamic Republic with differing opinions who were against each other, because that doesn't exist anymore. Even if parts of Islamic Republic wants to talk to the United States to negotiate, the other parts will not approve, and there's Khamenei is not there anywhere to hold them back, right? And honestly, if there is any negotiations, there's going to be the terms of surrender. This is not about allowing the Islamic Republic to survive. This is about allowing certain people within the Islamic Republic to survive. So these people are not they're negotiating for their lives. Both Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump made it clear that this is about regime change. And given that right now the Islamic Republic is at the weakest it has ever been, and has demonstrated that it has no ability to defend itself, and not only that, we have now almost every other country other than, I don't know, maybe Turkey, that wants regime change in Iran right now, because they're shooting at everybody. They're shooting at Oman. Like, for fuck's sakes, they're shooting at Oman. Like, did you see that? Like, Oman was the main country that was trying to save. I think that the Omani politicians are like, what the fuck did we do? Like, you motherfuckers, we were the ones who were trying to save you. Like, is this serious? Like, why are we being bombed? And yes, Cyprus as well. Exactly. So everybody wants them gone now, and given that they can't defend themselves, given that they're weak, given that this head of the IRGC and Khamenei is dead, and Mushtaba Khamenei is dead as well, what is there to negotiate with? Like, if you are if you could already have everything you want from somebody, the only thing to negotiate is maybe not killing the Iranian people in exchange for your life. I mean, can you imagine the Islamic Republic, if they want to actually negotiate, to shoot at the Iranian people at this time? So the negotiations would be off. And if they're not going to shoot at the Iranian people, then you don't need to do regime change, because the Iranian people will do the regime change for you. So let them
Also,
negotiate if they want. There's so much chaos. They're very
Also, I
weak.
think Trump
Uh,
stated that. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah. So one thing that I was gonna say is I totally agree with you because there's many people that are surfacing these claims. Oh, like look, Trump, he's being put in his place, or like oh, like blah blah blah. There's this like propaganda warfare right now, and so
Trump is being
basically,
put into place. Trump just
but these people,
conducted
no, no,
this.
I know, but these people didn't understand his speech in the beginning when he was conducting the attacks that he was gonna
Let them.
do an entire cleanup.
These are the dogs bark. No, these are what we call the dogs barking at the sun, trying to put it out by barking at the sun. That's what's happening. Okay, so the Trump just carried out the most impressive military operations in the history of civilization. Okay, within the first
Now let
few
me give you a
seconds.
last question real quick.
Okay.
Do you think the United States and Israel will eliminate? I think it was an interim temporal like Ayatollah that is gonna take power temporarily.
Wait, ask a question one more time and make sure it's only 30 seconds.
Yeah, do you think that they'll get rid of the temporary Ayatollah that they installed right now?
There's some unconfirmed reports that they might have already done that. So the person
Okay,
that they
good.
put in charge for to take Khamenei's place, there are some reports that he's already dead. I don't know for sure, but honestly, if I wouldn't be surprised. And anybody and right now being the supreme leader is a death sentence. Okay, anybody who they put as the supreme leader, they're basically like they're giving him a death sentence. That's what's happening. So let's go to
Thank you,
next
Armin.
person. You're
Next
welcome.
person
Thank you.
is
Great
Samantha.
questions, Samantha. Yay.
Shalom, Darud. Yeah, I've been focusing on like information war. So the thing with the girls' school, yeah. So what I've been like commenting on is I've been sharing like because like I've been going through and like anytime that I see it on social media, someone comment about the people who allegedly died in that girls' school. I've been responding that like what's it called? More Iranians would die if there was I've been, like, responding that, like, there's no confirmation yet as to whether, like, who actually, like, did it, whether it was, like, the IRGC or Israel or the US, and that more people would die if there wasn't military intervention because thousands of Iranians are still being, like, held waiting for execution. Other, like, Iranians, like, posts about, like, saying how, like, if you haven't complained about Iranian lives being lost yet, like, please shut the F up, or Iranians are celebrating this and want intervention. So,
Right.
yeah, that's what I've been, like, doing as a response to that. If anyone has any links to anything that shows that it was fake, I have not found any good credit links to like, I found links to people saying it's fake, but nothing that shows fake, so if anyone has
So, okay,
Although I
Samantha, you're
looked it up,
cutting in and
so
out. So let me. So you wanna let me just respond then, if you're done. You wanna close your mic?
maybe respond, and then if she has anything else to say, she can type it. Oh, she's disconnected.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So hope. Yeah. All right. So unfortunately, this is exactly what. So for people who want to need the context, the Islamic Republic State TV came and announced that there was a schoolgirl in Iran that was bombed. They're trying to blame it on Israeli bombings and Israeli and American bombings of the Islamic Republic. And this is something that we said will happen. I don't know if you guys saw that on the show. I specifically mentioned that this is going to be part of their plan, and I specifically was talking about schools. We're not 100% sure what happened here, but one thing that I mentioned is that I kept on saying on the Persian channel and on the English channel, don't send your children to schools. Don't send your children to school. I told them because I thought the schools are going to be a target of the Islamic Republic. They're going to hit the schools and they're going to either hit the schools themselves or use schools as a human shield, move their main assets next to a school. And immediately I said, like, right as soon as the war starts, they're going to come out with the news that a school was hit and children were killed. And this is as a way to provide ammunition to people who are against this war and against Trump, especially in the United States. And unfortunately, it happened exactly the way I mentioned it. And the Islamic Republic created the content for people like AOC, uh, Rashida Tlaib's of this world, and Thomas Messi's of the world, and and they picked it up right away. So honestly, the fact that this was so predictable shows what's happening here. I mean, the fact that we said that this is going to happen and it happened exactly like that. It's going to be a school, and the first one was not hospital, it was not like a residential area, it was a school. It was a school because the Islamic Republic knows that that is exactly what will create the highest cost for President Trump's, would deplete his political capital the most for this war. And they did exactly what we said, unfortunately. So I don't know, maybe like a one way to fight this is to go from our show and cut the part. Like somebody could like go on Iran Revolution Live. If anybody wants to put in the time to go find the part that I was saying this and cut it and then immediately play the part where people are now announcing like the school was hurt, that video would do wonders. Because I was saying this on the show that the Islamic Republic has done this. I don't know where was this, which show. I warned people about it, and I told people in Iran to don't send your kids to school. And then if you cut that part and then immediately after play people reporting the news that a school was hit, and we're like, and then the people who are blaming Trump for it, that's if you get that, if anybody wants to put the time to get that, find that and edit that, that would do wonders in my opinion. I hope Samantha hears that. If guys, if Samantha comes back, let her know what I said,
She's here.
and hopefully she will get updated by this. Oh, she's here. All right.
My internet's
So okay.
out. I don't even know like how much you heard my question.
Your audio is cutting in and out, Samantha. We can't hear you properly. All right. But thank you, Samantha. Thank you. If you can hear me, thank you so much for everything you're doing.
All right.
All right.
Next, I have Sorgu.
All right, guys. So let's just focus on questions and try to keep it under 2 minutes. Sorgu.
Okay, yeah. So my question is, I don't know if you can answer this, but I'm seeing a lot of left-leaning, liberal anti-Trump people who are basically taunting Trump, the people who are taunting people who are supporting Trump in this attack, and they're saying like, "Oh, if you support war, then you should go on the front lines of Iran." But my question is, why don't they ever say the same thing when they were enthusiastically for Ukraine to fight against Russia? Like, why don't they ever tell their own people, "Hey, you should go to the front lines of Ukraine if you support sending so much money and weapons to Ukraine"? Like, I don't know if you can answer that, but that's just a personal gripe for me. And then another question is, when AOC said no war with Iran, do you think she's actually that clueless that she doesn't even know that Iran is not the same as the IRGC? Or like, I find it hard to believe that she's that clueless. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so you're saying there are a lot of people who are attacking Trump and the people who support Trump because of the military operations he started against the Islamic Republic, and they're saying that if you support Trump's war, you should go fight it yourself. I mean, that is the most retarded thing ever. I don't even know if it requires responding to. The reason why we have a government is because we give the government the monopoly to use violence. That's the whole point of having a government. We, like the citizens, the whole point of being a citizen is to vote for your government to decide when to go to war and how to use the power of violence that we gave it. So that's the entire point of modern nation states, to for us not to go to war, for the government to decide who could do violence and when to use that as a for the sake of the national interest and the security of the nation. Remind them that you live in a representative democracy, not in a direct democracy. And also, if they say no war with Iran, I would remind them that it's not Iran, it's the Islamic Republic. The Iranian people love the United States. In fact, they love the United States more than they love any other country on the planet. So there is no war with Iran. The war is with the Islamic Republic. And if they say, well, then no war with the Islamic Republic, say, I agree. That's what we're doing. There has been a war with the Islamic Republic started 47 years ago, and we agreed. Like, you know what? Yes, you're right. No war with the Islamic Republic. What Trump is doing is ending the war that started 47 years ago, and we don't want a war with the Islamic Republic, and that's what Trump is doing. He's ending it. So I agree. No war with the Islamic Republic. So go Trump. Thank you, Trump, for ending it. That would be the answer. And regarding AOC, is he really that clueless? Is she really that clueless? She is really clueless. Like, I don't know if you saw her performance in Munich. She has no fucking idea. The only thing she knows when it comes to geopolitics is that Israel bad and free Palestine. That's her entire understanding of geopolitics. If you want her to comment on anything else, she has nothing to really add. Like, just go look at her performance in the Munich conference. It was embarrassing. I was feeling secondhand embarrassment from her performance.
So I was just going to say, though, I
Yes.
understand where the liberals are coming from, because they think that Iran is like Iraq, and seeing how many American soldiers lost their lives in Iraq. I know what they're trying to do, but I mean, I also think it's kind of stupid to ask someone to fight and put their own life on the line just to take out the IRGC. I mean, I agree with you there, but like I at least can understand why they say what they're saying.
Well, just to take out the IRGC has killed many Americans. The IRGC has killed many Americans, and they want to continue to kill Americans, and they fund people who kill Americans. So if you want to, if you want to stop people from, by the way, can you mute your mic because I'm hearing some background? So if you want to stop Americans from dying, then you should support this military operation to end the war of Islamic Republic against the United States and the American people. And when it comes to comparing it to Iraq, that doesn't make any sense for multiple reasons. First of all, the problem with Iraq was not the removal of Saddam; it was the de-Baathification that came after. So the removal of Saddam was easy. The part that the Americans made the mistake is the power vacuum that was created after the Saddam's removal happened because they completely removed the Ba'ath Party and everybody that was associated with it. That's what created the power vacuum after that caused Iraq to go into a decade of chaos, right? And basically brought ISIS. We're not going to repeat this mistake with Iran because Princess of Pahlavi has constantly mentioned that is not going to be repeated, and in fact he's doing a blanket amnesty for people within the Islamic Republic who are working, who don't have blood on their hands, they could continue to do their job in the positions that they already have. So that mistake is not going to happen. Second thing, the Iranian people's love for Israel and United States is unmatched. We didn't have that in Iraq. In Iraq, people were not this pro-American. Given that some Iranians love United States and love Israel, that's not a fair comparison. And another reason why this is not a fair comparison is because Iran is a proper country with a strong national identity that goes back thousands of years. Iraq is like a Frankenstein monster of three different things that are not supposed to be next to each other. It's the Kurdistan, is the Sunnis, and the Shias are basically forced together, and none of them feel none of them have a sense of patriotic Iraqi national identity in the way that Iranian people feel like they're Iranian. And this makes Iranian people much, much more eager to work with each other and work with each other as Iranians and to rebuild their country. They see each other as fellow teammates on the same mission. So and also they have the culture and the background and the institutional awareness and the political awareness to build something really, really great with cooperation with Israel and United States and other countries in the region. So that's why these comparisons are not fair. Like the idea that we're going to have like something from Iraq coming out of Iran doesn't make any sense at all. And okay,
let's go to China.
Yeah, I was worried about American support or not support for the war until Trump made his very brave decision. Thank you, Trump. I want to say that, Armin, your reactions to when the war started, when you woke up after 3 hours, you were like, what? And also when Khamenei died, I was crying with you. I want to volunteer to do those clips explaining, because the most important thing right now is to explain to people in America specifically, so they back Trump. Here in Israel, there's support for this effort, you know. And I was concerned and worried when you were happy Ayatollah died, and when you said that this means that you're free. I was very relieved because people in Israel are not sure that killing Ayatollah means that you're free. It's not a bridge that we are connecting yet. I was asking this yesterday when I went on the show. You weren't here. Sapir was also saying it's a process that to take us from Ayatollah dead to Iran is free. Um, I was encouraged today on Tusi to see that Israel is starting to hit Basijis from drones. The reason I was encouraged is because, like you say, it's the last barrier to when you shoot at the Iranian people. That's how you stop their will, their political will from coming to fruition. Otherwise, the political process,
so Shai,
should.
by the way, do you have a question? Because we're hitting the 2-minute mark very
I
soon.
will form all of this as a question. Armin, how sure are you that nothing will go wrong and this political process will reach its logical conclusion with the Iranians being free, now that Khamenei is dead, now that we can shoot the Basijis from, we are doing everything, but the Iranian people now have to take the baton and run with it. And we depend on you guys for that.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to toppling the Islamic Republic, this is a cooperation between. By the way, Shai, can you close your mic because I'm hearing some background? Thank you. So yeah, when it comes to the toppling the Islamic Republic, this is the cooperation between our three nations: the nation of Iran, Israel, and United States. And all of us have a role to play. And the Iranian people, without the Iranian people, this is not going to be possible. So you're completely right that the Iranian people are basically they need to do the final push. As powerful as the Israelis and the Americans are, you can't do regime change from the air. You need boots on the ground, and the only boots on the ground that you have, I mean, other than special operations and maybe like some commando or like spies on the ground, the only high level of boots on the ground that you're going to have for regime change are the Iranian people. So we need the Iranian people are going to be required to do their job for this to get to the finish line. And as you could see from the speeches from President Trump, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and Princess of Pahlavi, all of these people are relying on the Iranian people to do the regime change because they all asked them that there's going to be a time, and now it's not the time, but the signal will come from all of these three people when it's time to come back into the streets in millions and get us to freedom. And the way they're talking about it seems like suggests that all of these attacks are for that moment. All of the attacks against Khamenei, killing Khamenei, Mujtaba Khamenei, Ali Khamenei, IRGC leaders, they all have been designed to bring about the time where the Iranian people could take back their country. So this is why we're very encouraged, because killing Khamenei was not just for the sake of killing Khamenei. Based on all of these speeches, killing of Ali Khamenei was to bring about the conditions for the Iranian people to be able to do the regime change. That is why we're very encouraged. So, I did, by the way, I never suggested that there's going to be no problems. There's going to be problems. There's going to be challenges. Nothing is going to go perfectly. And how long this is going to take, we're not sure. The military operations could go on for another 2 weeks. I've seen some estimates that suggest that it could cause going on for 2 weeks. But the call to action for the Iranian people to come back into the streets might come out any time because of the way that these three men were talking about it, suggests that it could happen at any moment. And that would be what's needed. I am I'm very I'm very optimistic regarding our future because I mean I was even optimistic before this because my understanding is that one way or another, if you look at the way the events of the past 2 years, even without the United States attack and Israeli attack, my understanding is that we're going to have regime change. But what these military attacks do is reduce the cost, right? One way or another, the Islamic Republic would have been toppled by the Iranian people, but the price that we had to pay would have been astronomically higher the time if the Americans and the Israelis didn't get involved. This is why we needed the Israelis and Americans to reduce the price for this for the toppling of the regime, the price of this revolution in lives. But also, this is very beneficial for Americans and Israelis because honestly, if they weren't going to get involved, it would have been harder to justify the great bond that we're going to have after this revolution. So by doing this, by Americans and Israelis doing this, they have reconfirmed the great bond that we have, these three nations of these people have with each other. So and that's why this was obviously a major win for us Iranian people. But I hope and I know that we Iranian people will build a very strong, prosperous country, and we will prove the Americans and Israelis that they could be proud of having us as an ally. And I promise you that we will become such a good ally to have in a way that you will never wonder why you did this. Like we will make it the return on this investment will be 100 times more whatever the cost of was. Like we will make it very clear that having Iran as an ally was worth whatever the cost the Americans and Israelis had to pay for us to get here.